Welcome back to Piano for the Blind. Sorry it took so long to get this last lesson out, but here it is. Like I said, for the most part, this is the last lesson in this series. I don't want to say I will never ever make another lesson in this piano series, because, the future is unknown even to me, but for now, this will be the last one. At the end of this lesson, I will be answering about stuff that I didn't cover, like just talking about why I didn't and just mentioning a few things for if people are curious. So stay to the end for that. But today's final lesson is going to be something called modes. And I'm not going to get into the whole music theory a part of modes. I'm just going to say simply a mode is basically where you take a scale and you change one note. You change one note of that scale, and that is a mode, basically. And for those very smart individuals out there, you may have realized something. You guys already know a mode. Funnily enough, if you guys remember back to where I taught you the harmonic minor scale, so like a minor scale, for instance, A minor, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, back to A. So, and that's a natural minor scale. But to make the harmonic minor scale, you raise the seventh note. So if you remember, the G gets raised to G sharp. And then that makes the harmonic minor scale, which, if you guys remember, doing this gives you access to a couple different chords that you can use to swap back and forth between the normal natural minor scale. And most people refer to this, like I said, as a harmonic minor scale, but they actually have these weird names, and I don't know if I'm going to be saying them correctly, but the harmonic minor scale is actually called the Aeolian mode, something like that. It starts with an A, Aeolian mode, and that is the harmonic minor scale. So I'm going to be teaching you another minor mode, basically, and two that you can use for major scales. So that one, and then another one is going to be for like minor scales only. So yeah, there are other modes than just these, the ones I'm about to teach you, but that's for you to research and find on your own. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just teach you the second mode for minor scales, because I already taught you the harmonic minor scale, the Aeolian mode. So next we're going to teach you I believe it's the Dorian mode. And this is to be applied to minor scales. And so, like our A minor scale, then you just take the natural minor scale, and for this one, you raise the sixth note in this case. So, the harmonic minor scale, the Aeolian mode, you raise the seventh. But in this one, the Dorian mode, you raise the sixth note. And in the case of the A minor, F is your sixth note. So you raise it and then you get an F sharp. And that is the Dorian mode. And of course, because you've changed this one note, you get access to different chords that will have a more likely chance of working with your main scale. So you have other chords to play around with. But yep, so that is the Dorian mode for natural minor scales, you just move the 6th note up a half step. And again, the harmonic minor scale, the Aeolian mode, you raise the 7th up for a half step. And those are the two for the minor scale modes. Now we're going to go to the major scale modes. And so, we have our, normal C major scale. The first one I'm going to teach is called the Lydian mode. And for this, all you do for a major scale, you raise the 4th note up a half step. So in the case of C major, the 4th note is an F. So you just raise that F up a half step and then you get F sharp. And that is how you do the Lydian scale. And so if you've ever heard, this is if you just notice, you get, instead of a D minor, you get a D major in a C major scale, which is not normally there, but you have it. And so you can mix and match that with the normal scale, the normal C major scale, thus giving you more options. And so, again, the Lydian mode on a major scale is where you raise the 4th note by a half step. And then finally, we're going to do the last one that I'm going to be teaching, which is the Mixolydian scale or mode, which you apply this to a major scale. And this one is where you lower the 7th note of the major scale by a half step. This time we're lowering it, and it's the 7th note. So, in this case, in a C major scale, the 7th note is a B. But if you want to add the Mixolydian mode, you lower the B by a half step and make it a B flat. So then you'll have that B flat in a C major scale. And that is the Mixolydian mode. Now, I think I've heard different people say, are you in the scale of C Lydian or C Mixolydian? I don't really think the terminology matters that much. You can kind of just say it however you like, and I think the point will get across, right? You're using the mode of C major, like you're using the Lydian mode for C major. So I don't know, you could say C Lydian or whatever. I don't think it really matters too much, so don't get really bogged down by what you would call it. But yeah, so just a quick recap. The Aeolian mode is the harmonic minor scale. And that's where you raise the 7th note of that scale to make the mode. The Dorian mode on a minor scale is where you raise the 6th note of a natural minor scale. Then the Lydian mode is applied to a major scale where you raise the 4th note by a half step. And then the Mixolydian, which is applied to a major scale where you lower the 7th note by a half step. And that is really it. That is modes. If you have followed up to this point through all the lessons, this shouldn't really be too hard because, we had already taught harmonic minor scales, which is a mode. So you guys should be able to pick this up. It can be a bit still of a lot of information, so it might take you a minute. I know it took me a little bit to just memorize them all. But, just write them down, jot them down, type them out to a note file or something just so you can kind of look back and remember them. But other than that, it's really that simple, just the change of one note, and it gives you access to other chords. And so it can be very useful. So once you've gotten everything, the normal stuff down, and then you're more like, man, I'm tired of just only using, 7 chords. I want to use other chords, which you can still do that, right? You can experiment, and that is something I do encourage. But if you want stuff that is more likely to work out instead of having to guess or experiment, you can use a mode. I think it's good to have both options, like exploration for fun, but also something you can kind of go back to use to give you an idea, right? A starting point. So that's why I'm kind of the belief of learning some music theory, but also, having experimentation. So kind of like a blend of the two, not like one is all or nothing, because that is not the right way, in my opinion. But that has been it for modes. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully you play around with these, see what chords you can come up with, and just have fun with experimenting and playing around with it. But yeah, that's been the final lesson of this piano series for now. I mean, like I said, the future could hold something new, but at this moment in time, I have no plans to make anything else in this series. So thank you guys who have followed me this long, who have progressed. I am proud of everyone who has progressed and pushed through. If anyone's still, they came up to this lesson and they're still struggling, it's okay. You're not going to become amazing overnight. Just keep practicing and remember to have fun with it. Don't make it a stressful thing or anything like that. It's supposed to be fun and enjoyable, but I applaud you and, encourage people to keep pushing, and, eventually you'll get it. And, good job for those who have stuck through. So that has been it for this series. In this next little section, I will just talk about just the things about this series and my mindset, and just some things that I may have not covered and why and all that. So kind of just like a cleaning up, tidying up type of thing. So we will move to that. But if you don't want to proceed any further, again, thank you all for watching and listening. And I will see you in whatever thing I decide to do in the future. So this is the section where I just talk about the series and stuff maybe I didn't cover and why, and just some last thoughts, I guess, if anyone is interested. So, like in the very beginning of this, I had debated about making this series, this Piano for the Blind series, because I really was wondering, can it really help anybody? Will I just be wasting my time? And eventually I came to the thought of, well, if I can even help just one person, then it was worth it, right? And so hopefully there have been more than one person who has gotten some use out of this. But, I did my best. I want to reiterate something, that I am not a professional pianist. I have never taught anything before. So this was my best effort at it for the first time. There are things I could have done better. There are some things that maybe I could have included, but I just went with the things I thought were a good starting point for beginners to get started and just build on playing and creating their own music. And that's kind of what I went with. So like I said, there's many things that I didn't teach. So there are, of course, many other scales that I could have taught. There's many other chords that I could have taught. There's just a bunch of other things that I could have made some stuff on, but I didn't feel like they were necessary, because my goal was not to teach you everything. It was to teach you a good foundation of things to get you started. And then once you learn those, you can branch off and you'll have the knowledge even as a blind person and the understanding of things that if you go and watch some other videos, like say you watch another video on modes, you will understand everything and you can pick up some other modes or some other scales or some different chords and stuff, and you'll be able to get it right. Because you have already gotten a good solid foundation for everything. And then anything else you want to learn, you can branch off and search that up for yourself, right? So that was kind of my thought process. A big one that I did not teach that I'm actually surprised no one has asked about, but in case they ever do, why I never taught timing. So any real piano teacher would try to teach you timing, like with a metronome, the thing that's like it like goes tick, 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 and it like over and over, and it's supposed to help you with timing and playing. And then there's also time signatures, which the most common time signature is like 4/4, which it's basically supposed to represent like the rhythm of the music that you were playing. So like, even I'm not really that well versed in it. But it's like, four quarter notes per like bar or measure or something like that is how it, and I could be wrong on this. There is a very good reason why I did not teach time signatures and all this different stuff, is because I'm not good at them. I've tried to learn how to get better with using metronomes and timing, and then there's like the counting systems, like 1, 2, 3, 4 for like different notes and counting, like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Like, I've tried to get good at that stuff and it just didn't click with me. I could not get like their timing. I've watched so many videos, and so I can't do timing good at all, as far as like following a teaching method like that. So because I can't do it, I did not feel qualified or like I was good enough to teach you guys about it. Because if I couldn't do it, how could I teach it? And that's kind of like my feelings on it. So that is why I didn't teach about those things, because I am not good about those things and I wouldn't have been very much help. So there are many, many time signature videos, some that are very, very good that can teach you what a time signature is, and some that can teach you with timing. And there are those of you who will hopefully pick it up a lot better than I did. There are just some things that don't click with people, and this was one thing that just didn't click with me, no matter how many attempts I made at it. So keep that in mind if you're like me and they just none of them work for you. It's okay. You're not alone. I feel your pain. I've tried a lot. So yeah, that's just my question on why I didn't teach timing and rhythm and all that, because I couldn't. Is the simplest answer. But yeah, so I think that's just like a few little rounding up things. This is probably it, like I said, for teaching piano, unless there's something that I want to come back to, or maybe like if enough people ask questions throughout, I could do a Q&A maybe. I'm not sure, but as for now, I don't have plans to come back to this. And I post videos very sporadically whenever there's just something I think I can make a video on. So that's kind of it, and hopefully you guys got something out of this series. Yeah, I hope you guys had fun with it. I hope you learned something. I really hope I could help someone in some way. But yeah, that's really been it for this series. I appreciate anyone who's checked it out and like who's like listened and watched. It was a good bit of work putting this all together. Many, many hours spent recording, editing, planning out my lessons, and just editing it all together. And so, yeah, hopefully someone got something out of all my effort. I appreciate y'all so much. But that has been it for me and this piano series. So, until the next thing I do, I will see you guys in the next video.